Turning now to your community focus. All week, we've gone in depth on the housing crisis, from sky-high rents to a lack of homes for sale. Joining me now live in studio to discuss what is at the heart of this problem is Jeanne. She's the executive director of LISC, Rhode Island. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So for folks at home who might not know, LISC stands for the Local Initiatives Support Corporation. It describes itself as a national nonprofit community development financial institution, in short. I understand just last night you were at the State House advocating for the housing bond to be expanded. So tell me how much you would like to see it expanded to, ideally, and why.
So the more the better. We are so thankful and grateful that the governor put $100 million into his budget. We were up there last night asking for about $150 million, so $50 million more.
Okay, and why do you think it needs to be increased?
Well, I think we have such a shortage of supply, and that the more investment from the state means others can invest more. Like our company LISC, we can invest more through tax credit equity and other things.
We often talk about this term NIMBYism, which stands for not in my backyard. And, you know, the notion that people don't want affordable housing to be built near them. But you think there's a pretty big misconception about who affordable housing is for. Tell me about that. So
affordable housing is based on the area median income. And in Rhode Island, for a household of one, that is $57,350. So those are our recent graduates, our elderly parents, our veterans. It's for our single children that aren't yet partnered up with somebody or, you know, in a relationship. That is not, that is a good price point, right? So we're at $30 an hour, which is about $1,450 a month that you should be allowed to spend for rent or for your housing expense. The average two-bedroom rent in Rhode Island right now is $1,850. Wow. So as you can see, there's a big difference between what people can afford and what rent actually is.
Yeah, and of course you're talking about, you know, hardworking people who are, you know, working full time, making a good living. And, you know, housing and employment are so intrinsically connected, but it's sort of a cyclical problem, right? If you don't have a job, you can't afford a house. But if you can't find a house in a certain area, you might go elsewhere to work. So this is creating an employment issue as well.
That's right. Stable housing, good supply of housing is essential to a strong economy. If we don't have housing for our workers, we're not going to get the workers that we need to deliver a strong economy. So it is cyclical and a catch-22. So housing very much is a part of the economic discussion.
Yeah, we talk about the brain drain a lot. We're not going to fix that if we can't attract people to live here.
Right, and we can't keep the kids that are here graduating from our colleges and universities because they can't find a place to live.
So just quickly, we've got less than 30 seconds left before I have to let you go. In terms of the supply of housing, where should we be at ideally versus where we are in reality?
So we are currently tens of thousands of units short. Last year we had about 1,000 housing permits pulled. We should have between 2,000 and 3,000 to stay status quo. Wow. So we are woefully behind, even just treading water.
Wow. So lots of work to be done here in this area. Of course, we could talk about this for hours, and we're going to have more coverage of this coming up tonight. But Jeanne from LISC, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.